Welcome back, All Nine Row Nine Ball Talk, episode number 11. We're talking transfers, ball transfers, transfer of the glove here.
Transferring the ball from the glove to your throwing hand, probably, I don't know. I think bad transfers probably leads to 90% of throwing errors. What do you think?
I agree. That's, the biggest thing is having a good grip on the ball. And if you don't have a good transfer, then the first thing that's going to happen is you're probably going to throw it away. So being able to get that transfer and do it cleanly is very, very important.
Yeah, I think for rhythm, I think for grip, I think for all kinds of reasons, the way you transfer from glove to hand will make will take away a lot of throwing errors, unwanted throwing errors.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that at every level, the biggest thing is ball control. If you don't have control of the ball, you're not going to be able to get anybody out. And the quicker that we can get that transfer and that ball control, the quicker we're going to get the play done and more outs we're going to record. So yep. I always start from the bottom. I start from the ground up. I want to get my feet right. If I can get my feet right, and then I can get my upper body in the right position, everything facing where I'm going to be receiving that throw from. So I'm always preaching, get your feet, get the ground, get everything in the right direction, and then the rest of it just becomes so much more easy.
Yeah. And even when you're playing catch, like I always talk about, make sure we're separating from the middle. Whether it's a low throw, a high throw, whatever it is, get that ball back to the middle of our body before we separate. Now, there might be some times in games where it's got to be separated from a different area because of the situation, but I would say like 90% of throws should be separated from the chest.
Absolutely. And that's when you're looking at being quick and trying to do it as most efficiently as possible, it's from point A to point B, right? We don't want to be doing all kinds of weird stuff or dropping hands, which is very common. You get it, you drop your hands, and then you have to come back up. So our goal is we're going straight from here to here. And if we can do that, I mean, obviously a good throw is going to make that a lot easier, but sometimes you're not going to get that. And that leads me to another point. We're expecting a bad throw, right? Yes. We're always expecting somebody to make a bad throw. And that brings our feet into play even more. When our feet are moving and we can move to where the ball is, it can create a good throw out of a bad throw.
Yep. And if you're not anticipating that bad throw and he makes a bad throw, it is very, very hard to adjust. But it's very, very easy to anticipate a bad throw and get a throw right at your chest and still be able to make the play. So always, always, always expect that guy to throw a ball at your feet so you'll be ready for anything he throws you.
Right. And this is all the way up to the big leagues. You know, a good throw is hard to do. And especially when you're trying to do it as quick as you can, put yourself in that person's position. If they're moving to their left or their right from short or whatever it is, and they're off balance, you can almost see the bad throw about to happen, right? Yeah. You can kind of tell that something fishy is about to come. You need to be ready, being able to get your chest to where the ball is, because obviously we want to catch it here. We want to get something right here. And if we can make it there, we're not just going to stand there and say, hit me in the chest. If you don't, too bad, right? So we're going to be moving to where that ball is thrown, being able to get. So instead of just leaving our chest and our body where it is and going like that to go reach out for a ball out here or a ball out here, I can move over and make it a good throw. And you tend to see that a lot with guys in the higher levels. They'll make bad throws look good.
Yeah, because they move really well. I see that you're doing this a lot. Are you a catch the ball with one hand guy? Are you the two hand guy?
I try my best to do two. I try my best, and I'm always trying to get those thumbs close together. So the closer that I can get, I mean, obviously you don't want to be in front and you don't want to be behind because then you got to go around. But I want to keep those thumbs up and that glove hand as big and as open as possible. Because it's kind of a psyche thing. You see a big target, your brain is going to go, oh, throw it to that big target, hit it right there in the mitt. So big glove presentation, both hands up, opening up that chest towards where that throw is coming from.
So we might disagree here. I always like the big presentation to give the guy a target, but I do not like catching the ball with two hands unless it's like directly at my chest. If it's anywhere besides my chest, I will not use two hands because I always felt like moving like this is so unathletic. Like it's very, very hard for me to move with two hands around my body. And if I'm going to separate from my chest, why does it matter if I catch the ball with two hands here and bring it to my chest, or if I catch with one hand and join at my chest? So like when I was receiving a double play from shortstop or from second base, I would give the big target because, yeah, I want that ball right at my chest. But as soon as that ball was thrown, I would kind of get my right hand out of the way a little bit because I felt so much more athletic to move with just my left hand. Now, everyone's different, so you might like to keep that hand up there. But I liked feeling the ability to grab, bring to chest, and throw versus feeling like I had to be like handcuffed together.
And I think it comes, your body naturally does that open, take one hand away. And I think it comes into play when the ball is to your glove side. So if it's to your glove side and you're moving that direction, you can almost do like you're given the target and then it comes over here, you're going that way and this hand kind of stays there. But like you said, you're going to be moving that way and you're going to be bringing it back. So it's almost like you catch here and then you just move your body to where the glove is, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're saying, you catch it one-handed, but you move your body to where that ball was caught, and then it becomes two hands as you bring it in.
Yep. And
so go ahead.
I would say Drew in here, he's asking, do you work on transferring the ball to grip, four seam, two seam? Like, do you work on that, or do you just grab the ball and throw it?
I'm always trying to get four seam, and that goes way back to when you're a little kid and you're laying on the ground throwing a baseball up and down, and every time you catch it, you spin it real fast and try and get that four seam grip. Now, obviously, there's plays where you're trying to turn a double play and the guy's on top of you, and you got to get rid of it. If you take that time, that extra half a second to try and spin it, get the right grip and throw, it might not be there in time. So you take your chance of just whatever grip you got. But that comes with practice too. That comes with having so many different times that you've grabbed it wrong and knowing like, all right, well, I can feel, you don't even have to look at it. I can feel where this seam is right now. And I know if I throw it like this, it's probably going to go that way, or it's probably going to go that way. Now that takes a really long time to figure out because you have to have thrown so many baseballs with the bad grip to know what it's going to do.
When I was in high school, and I don't know if it's because the seams were bigger or what, but I felt like I could throw a two seam across the diamond faster than I could throw a four seam. And I don't know if it's because like the friction coming up, I don't know what it was. So I would always throw two seams across the diamond. And in college, same thing. Get the pro ball and the seams are a lot smaller. I started throwing two seams and that ball would move so much. And so like instantly I had to like retrain myself to throw four seam because I couldn't control that two seam as much as I could control a four seam. And like you're saying, like teaching yourself to throw different grips, but it's amazing how if you don't get the seams the right way, that ball will move. So you have to know how to adjust for a little bit of run or a little bit of tail, whatever you're going to get on your ball if you've got a two seam grip or if you've got three fingers on the ball because you didn't get it cleanly out of the glove. So knowing that kind of stuff and practicing, not practicing it a lot, but practicing enough to where if you get in game situation, you've got some reps under your belt throwing it with a bad grip.
Right. It's almost like you practice a swing all the time, then you practice your B swing. I mean, you should have a two strike approach. You should have different types of things going on. Well, it's the same thing with throwing. You should have an A throw where you grip it perfect and you can just let it rip. Then you should have a B where, this is a weird grip, but I got it. Or a C where you're off balance and you're throwing different things. You got to be able to know that I've practiced this, 100 or thousands of times over your career.
Yeah. Yeah. But always try to get four seam. Don't try to throw two seams across the diamond.
And if you have the time, if you know that you have the time and you don't have the grip, take that extra shuffle to get the grip. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with, as long as you have the time, there's nothing wrong with that. I would rather
Yeah.
that be what happens. So
That's a really good point. I think especially younger kids, they get taught that you got to be quick, you got to be fast to get the guy out at first, and so they'll try to do it in one shuffle with a bad grip, and then they make an error.
Yep.
Where now that guy's on second base, I would rather you take the extra shuffle, get a better grip, and maybe that guy beats it out, but at least he's still on first base, and we still got a double play intact. Whereas if you would have rushed it and you throw that ball away, we have no chance of getting him out. But if you take that second shuffle, get a better grip, we got a chance.
absolutely. Were you a push the index finger guy out? Because I know some people catch it a little more in their pocket when they're transferring. Some people go a little more in the palm. I always thought the harder the throw, the more in my pocket it was going to be to make sure I caught it. And then if it was softer, like a flip or something, I was thinking more palm of my hand just because I knew it wasn't going to bounce off as far.
Yeah. And this is a fairly new glove, but I liked my gloves to be like as flat as possible when I played middle infield. Like I did not want a pocket. I wanted the smallest pocket possible. So it was like catch. And I knew that ball was going to be right here every single time because there wasn't this huge pocket for the ball to be in. Now, if I played third base, a little bit different. I wanted a bigger pocket, a little bigger glove. But
yeah, you don't have to turn double plays at third either like that.
Right.
You're not trying to get it in and out as quick as possible.
You're almost never catching the ball and holding it in your glove at short and second ever. I mean, maybe on a steal you got to catch and tag, but other than that, like every time you catch a ball, it's always a transfer.
You would laugh at my glove. My gamer was like a pancake.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was. I used the same glove for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Like falling apart. Like leather was like ripping out of it. It smelled terrible. Like just, yeah.
There's some guys that use a new glove every year, and I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I hated new gloves. From the first year at ASU, I used that Wilson I got all the way through. When I transferred to Auburn, I cut the tags off it and put Under Armour TPX logos on it. And then I used it again all the way through my first year of the minor leagues. And then it was like a little too much, so I got rid of it. But yeah, I love that glove.
It's so funny. You cut it out and put in a different logo because you loved it so much.
Yeah, I was like, this Wilson's a little bit better than this TPX glove, and I just it's more broken in. I'm more comfortable with it. This is my livelihood. I'm trying to get drafted. I'm not going to go out and play shortstop with something I'm not comfortable with. So,
Right.
Heck, I would tape a TPX logo on there and use my Wilson TPX.
So pro. I love that.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
If you can't catch it, then you ain't using that glove.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm using my TPX, I'm making errors. I'm gonna be on the bench, so no one's gonna draft me from the bench. So, hey,
that could be a whole nother episode of how to break in a glove.
Yeah,
because that's a lot of work, and sometimes that takes time, like weeks, to get the right kind of pocket or not pocket, depending on what position you play.
Stanky taught me a way how to break in our gloves when we were at ASU, and it's the only way I do it from now on. We'll talk about it later, but it's a solid method.
Okay, I'm interested to hear because I've heard tons of weird ways of people breaking in gloves. So
yeah,
we'll do one on that. That's pretty good.
I'm down,
dude. We're gonna get this time. We're coming up right now. We got like 30 seconds left. I'm proud of us.
Hit that outro and let's get out of here.
Under 15. All right. So nice quick one right there about some glove transfers. If anybody's got any questions, go ahead, shoot some messages over, let us know. Again, if you guys got any things that you want us to cover, or we'll just keep talking about the stuff that we want to talk about if you don't tell us.
Keep working on those transfers. Take time. Get good grips. Work on bad grips. Work on it all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Episode 11. Wrapping it up right here. We'll talk to you next week.